Die Hard, the action genre-rattling 1988 film has become a lightning rod for clickbait. So many, including myself, have attempted to answer the age-old question of whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Surprise curveball. Shane Black was literally in McTiernan's previous movie, Predator, Christmas Illuminati confirmed. And that's not even where our little Christmas tale begins. Come back with me to the 1960s to meet Detective Joe Leland. Echoing voices implying a passage of time.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
No, you're not. You're gonna tense your muscles and get out the notebook.
The names were different, but in a very literal way, the first actor to play John McClane was, wait for it, old Blue Eyes himself, Frank Sinatra. The Detective was a 1966 Roderick Thorpe novel that ends with the wrongful execution of an innocent man. Did I write? That's Die Hard? It's a book about rooting out police corruption and chasing the sins of your past. In 1968, The Detective is adapted and released in theaters starring Frank. This book gets a sequel a decade later, Nothing Lasts Forever. This book is a breath of stank 1979 air. Complete with retired and cranky cop Joe Leland attending a Christmas party at his daughter's work that is inevitably taken over by German terrorists led by, and I didn't make a word of this up, Anton Little Tony the Red Gruber. Anyway, you can see why licensing the book to be a film could use with a few name changes. Christmas curveball number 2. John McTiernan, the dude that directed Predator and Die Hard back-to-back, bravo, wasn't so sure at first he wanted to make Nothing Lasts Forever into a film. It was already moving into the latter half of the very changed by Beverly Hills Cop 1980s. The book was grim, to put it mildly. He didn't really want to make Dirty Harry for the 400th time. He lobbies the studio to allow him to make that grim dark book lighter in tone. He didn't want a retired cranky cop, which John McClane would obviously ultimately become, but this intro is already too long, so just hold on to that for a second. On top of that, everyone thought McTiernan was nuts for going to bat for this goofball from Moonlighting.
Hello. Wow. My goodness, Mr. Pesto, we're looking a little pale today, aren't we?
An even lesser-known stage actor goofball, Alan Rickman, delivers the performance of a lifetime in his film debut. Every villain performance in every film until the end of time will be measured up against this one. The OG, the man himself, Alan motherfucking Rickman. The Christmas setting was the thing from the book that McTiernan wanted to hang on to the most because it would help him make sight gags and keep the tone lighter in a movie kind of about shooting people in the face.
You got any Christmas music?
This is Christmas music.
It is built into the plot of the movie. It's also about stealing presents and being a real Grinch.
After all your posturing, all your little speeches, you're nothing but a common thief.
I'm an exceptional thief, Mrs. McClane.
It was Christmas by necessity. None of this ever should have happened, so I guess what I'm saying is outside of how hard this movie was to make, Die Hard is a Christmas miracle. Anyway, I did a bunch of extremely useless math and weird thought experiments to try and frame Die Hard as the masterpiece of action cinema that it truly is.
Yeah. But all things being equal, I'd rather be in Philadelphia.
Die Hard was a 1988 action film directed by John McTiernan, shot by Jan de Bont, produced by Lawrence Gordon and Joel Silver, and written by Jeb Stewart and Stephen S. D'Souza. I've been thinking about this movie since I was 8 years old. We had a copy taped off of television, so this movie was censored for the first 10 years of my life.
Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks he's John Wayne. Rambo.
I was always kind of partial to Roy Rogers, actually. I really like those sequin shirts.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy? Cowboy?
Psst, that's the part we're supposed to say.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's an odd realization upon turning 40 that Jake Peralta actually don't have shit on me when it comes to loving this movie because it's a part of my very being.
Or that's a horror realization about the futility of time.
John McClane is a stubborn sack of rocks who hides behind his much more successful wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, and he knows it. Her company and success can afford to fly his children's absentee father out to LA to mope around and take absolutely zero responsibility for his previous actions. Luckily for John, it's Christmas and his kids would love to see him.
I mean, it's not huge or anything, but kids would love to have you at the house.
Well, what a surprisingly easy setup. You just prove you're a good dude that people can believe in, and then it's Christmas, baby. Of all nights in John's entire life, he's got to nail this one. Got this, John. You let the cocaine guy off the hook.
Miss Summit.
Totally chill. Let me just freshen up. Beans. There's a terrorist situation developing in the lobby. The scale of this movie is tiny. And it's also a Christmas movie about the protagonist measuring up against people's expectations of him, overcoming John's biggest hurdle to ultimately become a better person but also save the day. Oh, that's right, that's literally all Christmas movies. Nobody really had confidence here. They took a book that wasn't exactly flying off the shelves in the mid-1980s and made it something truly one of a kind. Die Hard is a surprisingly simple movie. Father fixes family issues by doing the impossible.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
And in Nothing Lasts Forever, the book, Leland's daughter is addicted to drugs, and both her and Anton Little Tony the Red Gruber fall to their deaths together from the building at the end of the story. It's a real bummer. Jeb Stewart is really the one doing the work of adapting this book into a film. He's the first writer on this project. The world needs to be filled out more because the book really only exists from Leland's perspective. The additions here are really what makes Die Hard, so to speak. It's about more than the situation. It's this wonderfully designed film where all these different people do heroic work.
Nice suit. John Phillips, London.
Allow me a moment to explain. Point 1. In Die Hard, all police are terrible at their job and have no idea what's going on at really any time. And before you say, "Tut tut, what about Sergeant Powell?" Gentle reminder, he was sitting behind a desk because he shot an adolescent holding a plastic toy gun. This entire film culminates in him finding the strength to fire his gun again. It's
cringe. There's no other word for it. This makes me cringe. It's embarrassing.
In Die Hard, all the FBI are terrible at their job, and all of the cops in the movie make fun of them for it.
The circuits that cannot be cut are cut automatically in response to a terrorist incident. You asked for miracles, Theo. I give you the FBI.
It's the mere existence of the FBI that allows the ludicrous plan to work. Point 3. Die Hard is a Western. This was the pivot to lighten the tone in the script stage. No one can fix the situation but John McClane. Roy Rogers, his dang self, which is like Galaxy Brain movie making, a Western set in Los Angeles. The cowboy just rolls into town and everyone around them is incapable. Point 4. Bruce Willis is a gifted, wonderful actor. I'm gonna lightly sear John McClane as a character over the course of this piece, but I want to be abundantly clear. Bruce Willis carries this entire franchise on his shoulders and always has. Through some subterfuge of their own, McTiernan had CinemaScore test Bruce Willis's screen score on the DL to try and create data to convince the studio to go with Willis. This definitely wasn't always a done deal. Arnold Schwarzenegger turned the part of McClane down, which is why any of this was possible. Joel Silver is the reason you have Alan Rickman in this film. Silver saw Rickman in a stage play over in England, and simultaneously to this, Stephen D'Souza is now doing a rewrite on Jeb Stewart's script, which was mostly about lightening the tone and fleshing out the world around the protagonist. Hey, come here for a second. I just want to keep this on the DL because on paper, Hans Gruber is the protagonist of this. May be cool. If Hans didn't show up, then Holly and John McClane wouldn't get back together, however temporarily it was. Hey, you guys, be real here, because it's so sad that John McClane can never overcome himself, despite his ability to overcome overwhelming odds all the time. He can't do it, He just can't. They built this entire movie on essentially the chemistry between Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman, which brings us back to D'Souza doing rewrites on set and trying to figure out a way to get these two characters in the same room before the end. And funnily enough, D'Souza overheard Alan Rickman trying out his American accent on set and went, bing!
Please, God, no, you're one of them, aren't you? You're one of them.
That's why this scene exists. McTiernan, a real hard-ass to put it mildly, dropped Alan Rickman too early on purpose for the final shot of the movie. It took hours to convince Rickman to do this drop onto a bag because he was so deathly afraid of heights.
Again, with the benefit of hindsight, I looked at the faces of some slightly incredulous producers when I said that I would do it myself. And it was being dropped from about 40 feet, as I recall, because this was in the days of, there wasn't any CGI. So it was, let's drop the actor. They were very careful to make it my very last shot on the film.
That look of terror on his face that slowly morphs into the purest hatred of 1,000 suns is authentic.
It's like if John McClane slept with Hans Gruber, or even worse, Jeremy Irons from the third one.
I think Die Hard 1 is a collection of happy accidents and really clever problem solving. It's the other ones that I think we... Let me get my list. What of the hero who never learns? The core trait of John McClane as a character today is that of a cautionary tale, illustrating that empty heroics of diminishing returns not only ruin your life, but they take away your ability to grow and learn. The audience needs McClane to be exhausted and upset all the time. It's the only place he shines.
Do you think I understand a word you're saying?
I don't know what we're yelling about!
I want to make a specific case for the perfect storm of untested talent that Die Hard truly was. It is a Hail Mary in a snowstorm, in ways that are not echoed in the diminishing reflections of John McClane, a dude that saw himself as Roy Rogers once upon a time.
Hey, that's Roy Rogers and Trigger!
What happens when a character grows beyond the things they were influenced by? The dude who freaking It's a Wonderful Life's himself when confronted by his own mortality and the numerous regrets he has in his own life.
God, that man looks really pissed.
He's still alive. What? Only John can drive somebody that crazy.
John's stubbornness is his strength that drives him beyond the limits of a sensible person to earn the opportunity to become an actual father and partner to his wife. With numerous Just Die Hard Him Again sequels, the character grows into a husk of themselves. People throw the word canon around, but McClane is canonically a dude suitable for a whopping single situation and effortlessly becomes a psychotic denier of jurisdictional process. Rest of the time, he's just like, international law, huh? Okay, really messed up metaphor time. Imagine, if you will, that It's a Wonderful Life had 4 sequels where George Bailey just slowly pushes away everyone who loves him.
Brushes, combs.
No.
The audience is the god of fate for poor John McClane. That's us. This character must appease our desire to see him turn into an alcoholic husk of a toxic human being who fight real good.
His own wife wants nothing to do with him, and he's about 2 steps shy of becoming a full-blown alcoholic. One step.
Human growth stagnates a franchise. Batman has to punch people in the face as a result of unresolved trauma forever. Okay, I'm gonna say the realest thing here. Our collective arrested development ensures that our favorite characters will never grow up and never fix it. You know what? Let's just go for it. I'm going to turn the whole Die Hard argument on its head. Die Hard 2 is not a Christmas movie. Kaboom. And I think further, its mere existence cheapens the effect of the first ones being a Christmas movie. Kaboom, boom, 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 boom. John just kind of starts breaking laws at the airport and ordering everyone around.
What is it?
You got a key for this door?
Yeah, why?
Because I want you to open it up. That's why.
I mean, I know we're dummies up here, McLean, so give us a little taste of your brilliant genius.
Who are you?
I'm Marvin. I'm Marvin.
It takes place at Christmas, but really John just oversteps his bounds and acts like a real jackass for the entire runtime and then blows up a plane. And then the other planes can I mean, Die Hard 2 is after all a movie about, right-wing terrorism? Oh, no. Did anybody see if I just got demonetized? You want the hardest truth. The effect of entertainment companies gobbling each other up like popcorn to see who can be the king of IP Mountain was a one-way street. I'm about to say a hell sentence, so buckle your shit up. Die Hard, the brand of car battery, not the movie, a business that was sold twice in its lifetime, licensing the Die Hard film brand from Jesus Christ to make a Super Bowl car battery commercial for Advanced Auto Parts that features character reprisals from Die Hard 1's Theo and Argyle, but is also a Super Bowl ad for a car battery. Bonus fact, this 3-minute commercial is better Die Hard 5 than Die Hard 5. Yes, I'm still on this!
I'm not done talking to you.
Here's the thing I'm pretty sure will eventually be brought through the hell dimension to our current corporealish reality. Lucy McLean, Season 1, coming this fall to Hulu. The longer you think about it, right? Die Hard 1 opened to wide release in America behind both Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Coming to America. It was an unknown quantity. No one knew how America would react to that particular brand of cranky. Here's a passive-aggressive statement yet entirely illustrative, but did you know? Die Hard made less money in 1988 than Crocodile Dundee 2. Sequels are a hell of a drug. It was the little engine that could, never quite replicating the lightning salad in the bottle the same way with each successive sequel. Here's the real shit. John McClane's descent into psychopathy is kind of like Scrooge or the Grinch or Rudolph or Elf or George Bailey just said screw it after their huge emotional breakthroughs and just were like, nah, actually, I'm just gonna not do the emotional labor thing and just go back to being a real piece of shit. So I really just wanted to make an episode that celebrates the fact that Bruce Willis played his character so against type that became his type. Let's end it with one more, but did you know that I think will be quite illustrative of how all of this happened. What did you know? Frank Sinatra turned down the role, by the way, as Detective Joe Wet Blanket Womp Womp Noise Leland.
Nestor, you're a miserable son of a bitch.
Roderick Thorpe's #1 bestseller.
Sometimes it's the decisions you don't make that make all the difference. I like that.